Today we are going to talk about the self-renewal and differentiation of stem cells. What is self-renewal? So cell division that regenerates the stem cell pool without loss of stemness, that is self-renewal. So it can be symmetric where both the daughters remain stem cells, or it can be an asymmetric division where one daughter self-renews and one differentiates. So the self-renewal or differentiation balance is a dynamic equilibrium controlled by intrinsic gene regulating networks and extrinsic niche sequence. So tissue engineering exists largely to artificially recreate or hijack that balance for regenerative purposes. So the self-renewal property of the stem cells and its differentiating property has to be balanced, and it has to be artificially recreated in tissue engineering. So this plays an important role in the field of tissue engineering. So here we can see a stem cell which either self-renews itself, or it can self-renew plus it can become a progenitor cell which can then differentiate into the adult cells. So we know that the stem cell has different potency. The totipotent is from the embryonic and extra-embryonic tissue. You can form both embryonic and extra-embryonic. It is from the zygote, which is the 2 to 4 cell blastomeres. The pluripotent is it can form all the 3 germ layers. Examples, the embryonic stem cells and the induced pluripotent stem cells. And we have the multipotent stem cells where they can restrict their lineage to one tissue family. Examples are the mesenchymal stem cells, hematopoietic stem cells, and the neural stem cells. And we have the unipotent stem cell, which is a single type. The spermatogoneal stem cells are the unipotent stem cells. They can only form that particular lineage. So that is the potency. So stem cell types used in tissue engineering. What are the stem cells which are used in tissue engineering? Though we have a lot of different potency stem cells. We use the embryonic stem cells. So the inner cell mass of the blastocyst is pluripotent, which can expand high expansion capacity is there. It can differentiate into any lineage, that is the 3 germ layers. But there are some ethical concerns, and teratoma or tumorigenic risk is there, and immune rejection is also possible. Next came the pluripotent stem cell, induced pluripotent stem cells, which is artificial, where the Yamanaka factors like OCT4, SOX2, KL4 and CMYC are used to convert the adult mesenchymal cells into pluripotent stem cells. So it is patient specific, avoids the embryonic stem cell ethics, and genomic instability, reprogramming efficiency and tumorigenicity are the drawbacks of this kind of stem cells. Mesenchymal stem cells are from bone marrow, adipose tissue, umbilical cord, dental pulp. They are multipotent, they are easy to isolate and expand, they have low immunogenicity, immunomodulatory, and they have limited differentiation range. Senescence with passaging and heterogeneous populations are there in the mesenchymal stem population. And there are tissue-specific adult stem cells, like example, HSCs from bone marrow, the neural stem cells from the brain, satellite cells from the muscles, and the epidermal stem cells. So they are unipotent or multipotent, and physiologically they are relevant. They have low tumor risk, but it is rare, hard to isolate or expand in vitro because they lose the stemness on the plastic culture dishes. So now we know that they have both intrinsic as well as extrinsic pathways. We will see the intrinsic molecular regulation of self-renewal. So what makes the stem cell to either self-renew or differentiate into an adult cell? So the core pluripotency transcription factors are the OCT4, SOX2 and NANOC. So they form a cell reinforcing regulatory circle. So they co-occupy their own and each other's promoters, forming a network that simultaneously activates pluripotency genes and represses the differentiation genes. So in a gene there is a pluripotency area as well as a differentiation area. This particular gene family will help in activating the pluripotency gene and suppress the differentiation genes. So you can see here it will actually act on itself, and then it will act with the other factors also, along with the other factors which help in the self-renewal or differentiation. So that is why they are called self-reinforcing regulatory circle. So actively specifies a particular fate decision depending on its expression level and co-signals. So for example, high OCT4 and no BMP4 will help in self-renewal, whereas high OCT4 and when there is BMP4, it will form mesoendoderm. When there is low OCT4 and no BMP4, it forms an ectoderm lineage, whereas low OCT4 plus BMP4 will form extra embryonic lineage. So NANAG represses the ectoderm differentiation, whereas SOX2, SOX3 represses the mesoendoderm differentiation. So these are the particular fate decisions depending upon the expression level and co-signals. Next is the dosage sensitivity. So reducing the OCT4 levels rather than eliminating it can paradoxically stabilize the pluripotent state and delay differentiation, showing self-renewal circuits are concentration dependent, not simple on-off switch. So it is not an on-off switch whether OCT4 is present or it depends upon the concentration gradient as well. And the CMYC and KL4 which supports proliferation and reprogramming but are more associated with expansion than fate decision. So the CMYC and KL4 they support the proliferation and reprogramming. And there is an epigenetic layer also which helps in regulating the self-renewal property. One is the polycomb repressive complex. This complex silences the lineage-specific developmental genes in the stem cells, keeping them poised. That is bivalent chromatin, which there are H3K4 methylation and H3K27 methylation, which is poised, which helps in poising, stopping it from getting that rapid activation upon differentiation. So when it is active, these are the epigenetic factors here present here. So when they are active, there is formation of the RNA and the protein formation. When it is poised, it is not in an active state. So silent is the methylation is happening and there is no transcription factors or other cofactors present for it to act on it. So this epigenetic layer is also acting on it. And the DNA methylation and stem cell specific microRNAs, they add a second repressive layer that reduces the transcriptional noise, preventing spurious or stochastic differentiation. Stochastic is probability, right? It can or it cannot, like that. So that differentiation is stopped by this DNA methylation. And the pluripotency transcriptional factors, the polycomb, miRNAs, they form a mutually reinforcing circuit that keeps the self-renewal or differentiation switch stable but rapidly reversible. So we can see here how they are kept. All the transcriptional factors, the miRNAs and the polycomb all act together to keep that self-renewal or differentiation switch stable. But it is rapidly reversible as well. So these are the intrinsic regulation pathways. Now we'll see the extrinsic signaling pathways, which are the niche signals which are present for this self-renewal or differentiation. So we have already seen about the FGF2 MAP ERK pathway, which maintains the self-renewal, which is required for the human embryonic stem cells or iPSC culture. And actin or nodal, which is the TGF-beta SMAD2/3 pathway, which maintains the pluripotency and central for human embryonic stem cells. So when we see here, so this is the FGF pathway where it acts on the ERK pathway, which helps in the cell migration and proliferation. And this is the TGF-beta activin nodal pathway where the SMAD2/3 and it enters the nucleus and helps in the transcription. The other one is the BMP pathway, which also acts to SMAD, but this is through SMAD1, 5 and 8, which activates the SMAD4 and then it causes the transcription of that particular protein for self-renewal or differentiation. Next is the WNT beta-catenin pathway, which maintains stemness in many adult niches, that is the intestinal crypt and HSC niche. This WNT beta-catenin pathway works. So this is the WNT pathway where it helps in the beta-catenin entering into the nucleus and causing the transcription. The next is the NOTS GSK3 inhibitors. So these are used experimentally to sustain self-renewal. So these inhibitors are used, especially the CHIR 99021, which is used experimentally to sustain the self-renewal. These GS3 inhibitors, so they can inhibit either the alpha chain or the beta one. So which when we inhibit alpha chain, it will cause neural differentiation. Whereas when the beta one is inhibited, it will cause self-renewal. So this GSK3 isozyme inhibition is also an important pathway in self-renewal or differentiation. Next is the Notch. Notch regulates the binary fate decisions or lateral inhibition, which maintains the progenitor pools in many adult tissues, mainly in the neural, hematopoietic and intestinal, and it is important in the adult stem cell niches. So when we see lateral, this is called as a lateral inhibition. So the stem cell, when it is present, it will prevent the other cells to become the differentiated or the other stem cells. So this is lateral inhibition and this is lateral induction. So it's the binary fate, yes or no, binary fate decision and lateral interpretation. The next is the hedgehog, which is the niche maintenance signal in several